888-900-3393. We've been wanting to get to this story for days. So I got to tell you about this fastest girl in Connecticut. She wrote an op-ed piece, and it was published, looks like just on Yahoo News.
Yeah, it's been everywhere, though.
She writes, it's February. I'm crouched at the starting line of the high school girls' 55-meter indoor race. What is that, 5 inches or 55 miles? I don't know how far that is.
Why?
There's no way to tell.
Why in American schools?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
I hate it.
Why is the... Hold on a second. Because English gets a lot of respect worldwide. Why doesn't our measuring units? I don't know. Why do we let Europe invade our high school track teams?
And didn't they just have to change the basic metric measuring system because it was inaccurate?
For weight, right?
Yeah. I think it was weight. I
like
don't know.
The gram. They had to recalculate what a gram was. Okay, look, if you're on the fly hundreds of years later fixing your system, just ditch it, man.
Right?
Ugh.
So anyway, she writes, this should have been one of the best days of my life. I'm running in the state championship, and I'm ranked the fastest high school female in the 55-meter dash in the state. I should be feeling confident. I should know that I have a strong shot at winning. Well, she writes that she won that particular race. But then every subsequent race thereafter, she lost to not one, but 2 transgender females. So these are biological males running as females, and they're pushing her to the back of the pack as she's trying to get college scholarships, as she's trying to get noticed. So, like as she puts it, rather than colleges seeing that she's a 3-time Connecticut state champion in a certain event, she's a person who finished 2nd or 3rd every single time to these transgender athletes.
I would be enraged.
Is that fair? She doesn't think so, and 2 other girls that are in the same boat with her also don't think it's a good thing, and they're all suing the state of Connecticut. Be interesting to see how this turns out. This is another thing we got to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
because this has happened over and over and over again in Connecticut. Now, in 2017, 2018, and 2019 seasons alone, these 2 women who were actually biological males took 15 women's state track championship titles.
Gross.
And more than 85 opportunities to participate in higher level competitions from other females or from actual females, biological females. How is it possible that rights for women and girls have just gone completely out the window? That is as surprising as anything to me.
Seriously, NOW now, right?
Yeah.
National Organization of Women.
Where are you?
Where are you?
What do you want to bet they support the trans athletes
sure
in
they
this?
do.
I'll bet
sure
they do. That is crazy. So, she thinks she probably wound up at a lesser school with a less promising outcome for herself because of the losses to these 2 trans people. It's unconscionable.
Yeah, and what is this going to do for her if it goes her way in the courts? By then, she'll be long into her college career.
Yeah. And she said she's doing it for others now. She doesn't want it to happen to others. By the way, we're talking about the transgender situation in sports in Connecticut, where this poor girl, and many girls have lost to these trans athletes who are biological males over and over and over and over again for the last 3 years since this has been going on, and so have probably received lesser offers from colleges to compete in their chosen sport. And we were wondering, where are the women's groups on this? I'll bet you now doesn't support the girls. I'll bet they support the trans people. And sure enough, we've got this story, which is from...
I don't know. It doesn't have
somewhere.
a date on it, but it was post Biden becoming president.
Oh, it's a Fox News site. So this came from Fox. Some of the nation's largest and oldest women's rights groups were quick to establish which side of the line they fall on, declaring that trans women rights are women's rights.
Ugh, what in the world?
And drawing questions about whether they're backing what some say is an uneven playing field. As courts and scientists overwhelmingly have stated, transgender girls and women are girls and women.
Helpless.
So transgender girls and women are girls and women, according to them, and they're backing the trans people who are actually biological males.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
This thing just doesn't make sense.
Nope.
Other women's groups, like the National Women's Law Center, said their support for transgender women and girls is inseparable from their commitment to fairness and equality in female sports. You've got to be kidding me. But not all women agree that trans women's rights are indistinguishable from women's rights, including the Women's Sports Policy Working Group. Love them.
Mm-hmm.
How many papers have you read from the Women's Sports Policy Working Group? I can't even count. I really can't count.
I've heard
them. Love them.
Spokespeople from that group that are spot on.
Yeah, right. The group, by the way, established by prominent figures like tennis champion Martina Navratilova. We know how she feels about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
She is adamant about keeping trans women out of women's sports. And two-time Olympic gold medalist Donna Di Verona reject recent efforts by state legislators to bar transgender athlete participation in sporting events. Yeah, Martina Navratilova is she's a groundbreaker. She's a trailblazer. She was one of the first to come out and say, "Yeah, I'm a lesbian, and I'm also a famous tennis player." So she's already within the LGBTQIA2+ community.
And that meant nothing to them.
And that meant nothing. She still got hammered because the trans lobby is so powerful. I don't know how this happened so quickly, but wow. Like overnight, all of a sudden they're in charge. They're in charge of this country. And anything they want, that happens. So why? How? Who knows?
And shame on groups like the National Organization of Women, who for decades just screamed about women's rights, equal rights, blah, 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 blah,
Title
blah.
IX, which they jammed down our throats.
And then in their time of need, when women actually need them to stand up for them, they go and do this. If you have supported the National Organization of Women in the past, I just can't understand this. There's absolutely no consistency here whatsoever. I can't understand how anyone would support a group that turns on a dime like that.
Nope, it's
a madhouse! A madhouse!
More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.